when I film these videos, I'll do several takes over the course of a couple days so that I can articulate what I want to say effectively. Last night I didn't take my makeup off like I was supposed to, because I put makeup on when I do these. I've done a couple videos without makeup, and you can't see my face. Like, I'm not ashamed to go without makeup, but you cannot actually see what's happening. So, I just want to let the record show that, this is what the bags under my eyes are looking like, and we are going to erase those with makeup. Because nobody is getting good sleep, especially not me. So, if you're a makeup blog, you're probably going, oh god. I don't know why I keep putting this on my hair. This is a UV and heat protector to make the color stay longer, but I'm not going outside. I don't know why I keep putting this on my hair, it's just habit. So, there we go. I just gotta put on some eyeliner so that I have eyelashes again. And we will be good to go film this video for the 19th or 20th time. Somebody who's an actual makeup channel is going to be watching me do this going, what the fuck is she doing? This is good enough. This is good enough. So there's two Avrils. I'm going to edit that entire rant out. We are here for me to discuss why I love this Keytar. And why I don't love this Keytar. I know that I've made like 5 videos about this specific Keytar. I swear I don't have a vendetta. I swear I don't have a large vendetta. But here we are again. Drinking coffee. But first I want to say one thing, and that is that I'm getting back into the Patreon thing. I quit my job because my job was being really dangerous about COVID-19. And I just didn't want to spend the rest of my life wondering if I killed someone's grandma because I went into work. We don't know what the world's going to be like in 6 months, so I just have to survive the next 6 months and then recalibrate my entire existence. So, in the meantime, I brought the Patreon back up online, and we are doing stickers. These stickers are printed on waterproof ink on vinyl adhesive, which makes them basically the highest quality stickers you can make at home. I printed these on a printer that retails for $3,000. They're completely waterproof here. As you can see, there is no bleeding or blending. So if you sign up on my Patreon at the moment, you just have to sign up for $1 per video. I don't charge per month, I charge per video. $1 gets you this sticker, which means that I make 40 cents on this sticker because I have to pay for a stamp. But we're going to make it even better, because when you get a sticker during the coronavirus pandemic, I will send you a disposable, reusable mask. You can wash this and reuse it probably 5 or 6 times. They're great. You can wear them when you go out. The CDC says that you should. So they're not a medical mask. They are a cloth face covering. But I'll stick one of those in the envelope too so that you can be safe. So subscribe to my Patreon, or you might die. Okay, so, I do get this question a lot, and I got this question a lot more when these were the same price. Currently, the Yamaha SHS-10 Sonogenic is $329, but when it released, it had a promotional price of $299. And the Alesis Vortex was and is $299. So if you are brand new to Keytar, you are getting a single Keytar and you don't know which one you want, which one do you want? And I frequently say, don't get the Sonogenic as your only Keytar. It's not worth it. And people want to know why. Why should I not do that? So I'm going to discuss why, if you are only getting one Keytar, the Vortex is a better buy than the Sonogenic. But I just want to say, if you already know you don't like the Vortex, you say, I want to get an entry-level Keytar, I have 2 options that are under $500, it's this one and this one, but I don't like this one, should I get this one? My answer is going to be no. You need to look up the Yamaha Reface series, because this is not better than the REFACES. I'll go into that in a minute, too. And it is currently the same price as the expensive REFACES. The organ and the piano ones are slightly more expensive than the DX and the Modeled after an analog synth one. And I know that previously on this channel I did say this. I like to go as far as to say it's not a Keytar if it doesn't have a neck. Past me was an idiot. If you strap it onto your body and can run around like a moron, it's a Keytar. Don't worry about shape. Just get something you like the look of. I also don't like the look of this. I'm biased. Anyway. So the Reface series is now the same price or cheaper than the Sonogenic with the new Sonogenic price increase. So when I'm trying to sell you on the Vortex and you don't like it, that doesn't mean your only option is the Sonogenic 700. 500. Fuck. So, here we go. People want to get the Sonogenic versus the Vortex because they think they get more. If you actually want a great drinking game, you should look up the Guitar Center demo for the Yamaha Reface series, and every time that the guy says real time, you take a shot, you will fall over drunk by the end, but we're not going anywhere. We're all stuck in our houses. You can get as drunk as you want. Just splashed it all up in my face. Since I quit my job, my Keytar buying budget has gone down to 0. So me getting the SHS-300 to review is probably not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. A lot of people feel like they would get more that they would use with the Sonogenic than they would get with the Vortex. So what you get with the Sonogenic that you don't get with the Vortex, the main difference is that this is a synth and the Vortex is a MIDI controller. I go into what that means in basically every video, but what it means here is that there are sounds in this and you have to plug this into sounds. This has 30 voices, 2 of which are drum kits. Some of them just aren't very good. It has mini keys, 37 mini keys. It has Bluetooth MIDI. The voices have an effects manipulator, but I don't count that as a separate thing. That's part of having several voices. Almost every digital instrument that has been made recently has some way to manipulate the effects. You can change things like cutoff in the Lucina even, which is a little bit older. You can't do it on the SHS-10, but you can't do a lot on the SHS-10. So I don't count the effects as a separate function the same way that Yamaha does when they're trying to sell it to you. It's got a pitch bend, a mod bend, or a mod control, mod wheel. It's got sustain sometimes. And it doesn't have true sustain, it still dies, it just dies slower. I should also mention that the keys are not fully velocity sensitive. It is just soft, medium, hard key presses. This is most obvious with the electric piano. There's just 3 settings. I mean, the keys are nice, they spring really well, they're a pretty good size. You've got your octave shift and your transpose. So that's the main things you get with this. The other thing that you get is you do get this little speaker that I've been playing it through. That is as loud as it gets. So some people say, oh, I want it because then I can play without plugging into anything. And you can play without plugging into anything if you're practicing at home, if you're in a relatively quiet environment. But that speaker is not loud enough to go out on the street and busk. You can't even play a song for your friends without really without really amplifying it very much. Oh, I was gonna wear my necklace. Hang on. My friend made me this necklace and I love it, and I was gonna put it on. That's the whole reason why I'm not wearing a t-shirt, was so that I could put on this necklace. So we got my necklace on. Now everything's fine. So I do want to clarify that you don't have an amplifier in this, you have a little speaker. If you want to play and practice something and the room is loud, you should put in headphones. Full disclosure, I don't hear very well, that's part of why I talk so loud all the time, but so I have a lot of trouble distinguishing noise from background noise. So there might be a slight bias in you need to use headphones when you're in a loud room, but I don't think it's that biased. You still need to plug this into something if you want to play it for more people, and you still need to plug in headphones if you want to play it for yourself a lot of the time. So I want to get that out of the way. This is not everything you need to perform in a small venue. And then if you want to get out your iPad, you do get 2 more functions. Basically everything that is from here up requires an iOS device of some kind. You have your buttons up here that control play, pause, forward, and backwards. If you are not synced to something, these only control the demo songs. There's no way to program anything in via USB or something. So these don't exist unless you're plugged into your iPad. Or I'm going to use iPad to mean all iOS devices or computers with iTunes in them. Because why the fuck not? Anyway. And then you have jam mode. I've made 5 videos about how bad jam mode is. I've made several videos about why I don't like jam mode. Basically, if you want to be a musician, you want to keep jam mode turned off, but with the place that it's located, you will frequently turn jam mode on accidentally. And when you turn jam mode on accidentally, you can't do anything but stop playing and turn it back off. You can't just casually turn it back off. So, if you hit jam mode, it is a song-breaking experience. That's why mine is covered up with tape. That's all I'm going to say about it. This isn't going to be another Pink Hates Jam Mode video. 28 sounds plus 2 drum kits. Get a little tiny speaker. You get aux in and phones in. And you get jam mode. I will talk about this as a MIDI controller in a minute, because you will want to use this as a MIDI controller because the voices in it are so limited. So here we are with the Vortex. I need to plug this in. The Vortex is a MIDI controller, which means that you need to plug it into something in order for it to make sound. If I just turn it on and I don't have it input on anything, it doesn't do shit all. So that is the main thing that turns people off from this, but I just want to say, setting up MIDI is not particularly complex, and if you don't want to do really complex things with it, it's not actually particularly expensive either. When you get a new phone, at least a new Samsung phone, I don't know about the other ones, you get this, which converts whatever the port is on your phone, in my case it's a USB-C, into a USB-A. And then you can take this and plug it in here, and then you can take one of, I downloaded, maybe I'll do a video kind of like where I reviewed the violin apps, where I review Android MIDI apps, and now we have so setting up MIDI does not need to be difficult or expensive. I didn't have to download any drivers, I didn't have to do anything except download the app and figure out a way to plug the dongle into it. And my phone conveniently came with the thing that plugged the dongle into it, and I don't throw stuff away, that's why this room looks like it does. So, I still have all the boxes that all my Keytars came in, but a quarter of that room is just taken up with giant boxes. The more complex you want to get with it, the harder it's going to be, but if you just want to play casually, it is just as easy to play the sounds off my phone or my iPad using their internal speakers. Can I have more sound, please? To play off these speakers as it is to play off this speaker. And this one doesn't get as loud as my phone does. Because you're connecting it via MIDI, you get every sound that your MIDI interface will let you do. There's a lot of free interfaces that are just out there, and you can play through those as long as you have a way to connect USB-A into your mobile device. And honestly, you want to have that anyway because you have no idea how handy it is in your life. You should just do that. Why have you not done that already? There's nothing, just order something. We're all stuck in our houses, figure out how to solve this problem, man. I say, having not figured out how to solve any of my life problems. So, when you connect the Sonogenic via MIDI, you don't have a sustain button, but here we've got... You get 37 full-size keys with true velocity sensitivity and aftertouch. Hey guys, Editing Pink here. Just wanted to let you know I didn't say it correctly in this video, but when it is going over MIDI, the Sonogenic 500 does have 128 degrees of velocity sensitivity, the same as the Vortex does. It's when it's playing its own internal sounds that it only has hard, medium, soft, so that's a function of the sounds in the instrument and not a function of the key bed in the instrument. It's a key bed in the controller. I know what I'm talking about. You get your strip that can control mod or pitch, depending on your preference, and you can switch while you're playing between mod and pitch, which is very important. You don't have to stop what you're doing, go into your sound and or your interface or your instrument and control it. You can control it from the controller, which is what a controller should do, in my professional opinion. And you can set if the mod snaps or not. I have it set to mod that does not snap, mod that does snap, and pitch that snaps. You also get your pitch wheel, in case you like wheels better, or if you want to manipulate mod and pitch at the same time, you have that ability. You have the ability to change which MIDI channel the keys are transmitting on, and you can split the key bed between two MIDI channels. That's extremely useful. A lot of modern Keytars don't have a patch select on the body. A lot of vintage Keytars do. The KX5, the Vortex, and the RK100 non-synth. By the way, in the last video I said it had velocity sensitivity, and I don't know what I was on. It does not have velocity sensitivity. The RK100 original does not have velocity sensitivity. My bad. But the Vortex and most instruments that you use as a MIDI controller that also have synth on them do not have patch select. So being able to switch between two MIDI channels really quickly and change instruments in the middle of a run. You get your octave shift. Down here you have your drum pads, which you can set to do anything. Mine are currently set to play major scale. And then you've got 8 faders. You also have your volume control up on the neck. And there's a preset editor, which means that you can change almost everything in this. You can set the volume control to control something else. I like setting it to control cutoff when I'm feeling fancy. You can change almost everything on this, which is really important because if you want an instrument that conforms to your every need, you want an instrument that you can tell it what your needs are. And that's one of the advantages of having a MIDI controller, is that you can do that. We're actually playing this through the iPad today out of fairness to the Sonogenic. I can't really control what these do via GarageBand for iOS. It doesn't let me define that, and since I can't define that at all on the Sonogenic, I feel like it's a little bit more fair that way. What you get that you don't get on the Sonogenic, you get an expressive keybed with aftertouch, so you have a lot more expression with your hands. You get your strip for mod and pitch and the ability to change what that does. You get your split keybed, you get drum pads, you get faders, and you get a volume control. You also get tilt. Now, remember what I said about how jam mode, if you accidentally turn it on, it's going to wreck whatever you're playing and you have to stop playing to turn it back off? The Vortex also has that. It can do this. Hang on a sec. To do this properly, we should really have. Why would you want it not a tritone? But the important thing about the tilt function that will wreck your playing if you accidentally turn it on is that it's really hard to hit the button. So you get more control out of this than you get out of the Sonogenic. And you say, yeah, Pink, but this doesn't have sounds on it, and the Sonogenic has sounds on it. So what we're going to do real fast is discuss the Sonogenic sounds. They are not very good. I want to clarify that if you already own this instrument, you are not obligated to hate it. We are allowed to like things that are objectively bad, but if somebody is asking me if they should take their money and spend it on this or spend it on a different Keytar, I can't in good faith say that you should purchase this. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's what's on the inside that counts. And inside this, there are 30 voices, 2 of which are drum kits. And none of them have an identity. And having the identity of your instrument connect to what it is, like the Lucina has a large selection of just kind of general different sounds. Roland did an entire advertisement about why you should purchase this Keytar for your children. It's made to be a beginner instrument that you can also strap on. And so if you don't know what you want to play, this has a big variety of sounds. The AX Edge has 4 different banks of sounds that are all synths. And they're all good sounding synths. But you get your leads, you get your edge leads, which are the fancy ones. You get your pads, you get your poly, and you get your brass. That's 5. I can count to 5. This is designed to be a cool sounding synth. If you like analog synth, and you like FM synth, and you like synthy synth, and you like muddled synth, you are going to want to play this instrument, because if you want to find a guitar sound, there's only 1 or 2. It's like 15 guitar sounds, actually. But there's not as many guitar sounds as there are synth sounds, because this has the identity of, I am a badass, cool-looking synth that you strap on and run around like a dumbass in. This has only 30 sounds, and instead of committing to any specific idea, they tried to get all the instruments in there. But when you only have 30 sounds, what you end up with is a very small selection of each instrument. Like, do you like guitars? Do you like guitars? Okay, let's see. Do you like this guitar? Do you like this guitar? Or do you like this guitar? There are no more guitar options. Do you want a pad sound? That's it, that's your pad sound. 28 instruments, 2 drum kits, and if you want to play this with other people, you want to write songs, you want to express music, you're gonna get bored of those sounds really quickly. There's just 30 sounds is almost nothing. And that means that once you hit 30 sounds and you're tired of them, 28 sounds plus 2 drum sets, you're gonna want to use this as a MIDI controller. It does have wireless Bluetooth MIDI. All I have to do is press like 5 buttons. I don't know why it's buried so heavily in there. But so now... So now we have access to every sound in GarageBand for iOS, and there's 1,600 of them. And that's great. And you can download more. And that's great. But now you're using this as a MIDI controller, and you have this as your other option for a MIDI controller, and now this has to stand up as a MIDI controller to this. There's just not enough in here. And the frustrating thing is that there's actually 128 sounds programmed into this. It just doesn't let you access all of them until you plug in another instrument. It's weird. It's weird. Nobody talks about it, but that's how it is. It's really strange. Plug this into 5-pin MIDI out sometime and just get your mind blown by why it's got all the sounds of the 1997 Yamaha Clavinova in it, but you can't use them. The way that the controls are here, the pitch and the mod, they're so low down that you could cut off the neck. You don't play this like it has a neck. You don't manipulate things up here. Everything's manipulated on the body. Just what you want, if you want this, but you don't want to use the neck because you don't want to do jam mode, what you have is a more expensive Yamaha Reface that doesn't have an identity. The thing about the Reface series is that they intentionally gave a heavy amount of identity to each one. And I know that part of playing the Keytar is looking particularly cool, but I just want to say, you've got Plasmic here, who's rocking the... It's not called the CX. What is it called? It's gonna bother me. We gotta pause the whole video while I look this up. The Reface CS. Here is Melody playing the Reface CP. Links to their stuff is down there. You can't look at those 2 girls and be like, no, that Keytar doesn't look badass enough. The idea behind the Reface series is that all of those take the small amount that they have to work with and give it as much identity as possible. There's 4 things in the Reface series so that each one can have a distinct identity, but each one has so many controls to manipulate the sounds, you build the sound yourself from the ground up. And honestly, that's one of the greatest things about playing keyboards, is being able to look at something and go, I want to change the envelope, I want to change the tuning, I want to detune this, I want to add more sustain, I want to do all these things. You can do that, and it's wonderful. I love it. Plus, it's cheaper, and it's well designed. Good design matters. Anyway, I just realized I didn't turn on that lamp this whole time. Anyway, so there we go. The Yamaha Sonogenic has internal sounds but it doesn't have enough of them or good enough ones that you will probably be content playing it as just the synth that it is. You're going to need to branch out. And the good news about branching out is that it has MIDI, so you can do that. But once you're using it as a MIDI controller, you discover that it's not a very good MIDI controller, and you end up spending the same amount of money or more than you would spend on a really good MIDI controller to get a not-so-great MIDI controller. And I've seen this happen with multiple people. This wasn't just my experience. So, there we go. There's the whole story, right there. That's basically everything I had to say. Midnight, do you want to be in the video? She doesn't want to be in the video. I'm gonna have to film her in her pumpkin. Hi guys, me again. This is the part where I'm supposed to say to leave a like on this video and comment and subscribe and hit that notification bell because I upload really infrequently. I always forget to do end slates, so this is what that's gonna be now. So that's my end slate.
Say hi, pumpkin.